Here with Sarah Berry. She is a leadership development coach. We were having a conversation the other day, and I thought I had to have her on my show. We were speaking about really how leadership gets in its own way and what you need to do to fix this. So, first of all, welcome, Sarah, to the show. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. With your Toronto accent and my Southern accent, we can have dueling accents for a
Right,
while.
exactly. Dueling battles. I love it. I love it. I love it. We probably won't duel over the weather, though, because, I mean, you're down south. It's probably going to win over our weather right now.
Yes, I'm going to agree with you there. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there.
Fair point. I mean, I just got back from Miami. Everyone's like, "You're not very tan." I'm like, "Well, my friends insisted I use intense amounts of sunscreen." I'm like, "I'm Canadian, but it doesn't mean I never go in the sun." So,
Oh, it's true.
anywho, so when it comes to leadership, you and I were talking
Mhm.
today and last time about how like there's a huge exodus of people leaving en masse, leaving
Yes.
companies or thinking. I think statistically, like 50 or even maybe 60, they're showing percent of people are actively
Mhm.
looking to leave their job.
Yes. Yes.
People, my friend's a recruiter, and she finds people are way more open to being
Mhm.
recruited or having these conversations, as interviews versus no, I'm not interested. I'm happy. No, people are just and it's
Mhm.
interesting because it's having a huge impact as we were talking about on leaders themselves.
Yes.
After staff is gone and things are blowing up because things aren't working, staff are not engaged, mental health with staff, with leaders,
Mhm.
with teams, people not happy, not fulfilled. And I think people are tired of just being a cog in a wheel,
Yes.
and not feeling recognized, important, not feeling
Mhm.
developed, grown. I mean, again, you're a leadership development coach, and people not feeling developed or okay, I'm doing the doing every day,
Mhm.
but how do I progress? What's my next role? How do I grow?
Mhm.
How do I get a promotion, make more money, develop myself, find something more
Mhm.
fulfilling? So
Mhm.
it's really interesting, and hopefully your cat can share some shed some light on this too.
He's blind, so he doesn't realize he's interrupting us.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing? People leaving en masse. I'd love your thoughts on this and what we can
Sure.
share with leaders on later on
Yeah.
we'll talk about how to stem this. But tell us what's going on, what you've seen.
Sure, sure. And I'm trying, I've kind of shifted and I'm really focusing on the great retention
Mm,
versus the great resignation because
fair.
there are things that we can do to change this course because truly people don't want to leave their jobs. They don't. They want to be happy. They want to stay. 60% of people want to stay with their good developed leaders with their organizations. They want to show up at their jobs and feel smart and be a part of a team and bring value to their team and their organization. And there is, there's articles, there's studies, there's all of the information out there of what we can do to to change this course and to make a difference. So I really see so much positive that is out there that we can do.
Mm,
And it does center around leadership and leadership development. And there's some small investments that companies can make
yeah.
that will pay dividends in the end and will change the course of lives for so many people in that mental health impact and all of that. Because what we're seeing is, you hear all of this, like we were talking about, like where people are exhausted, but it really has more to do with the exhaustion that people feel when they can't contribute,
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
not being utilized. That's affecting their mental health. So when you have these strong leaders that have been developed into leaders and are able to really utilize those people that are underneath them, and they're feeling like they're contributing, when they're seeing that they're bringing value, they are energized, they are jazzed, they are showing up because nobody gets up in the morning and wants to dread going to their work. And truly, nobody looks forward to the job hunting process. That's
This is also true. No, you're right. It's and that's the thing. Um, and I was there years ago too. I was years ago dreading what I did too, and it
Mhm,
was not a ton of fun. Not gonna lie. And
mhm,
I got up dreading, depression,
mhm,
anxiety. My health was
mhm,
suffering because of it. So you're absolutely right,
mhm.
absolutely right. And I hate seeing people like that. And
Yeah.
it was and the thing is, leaders can have such a huge impact on people.
Mhm,
Impact a huge, I guess, cascade or waterfall of people below them. So we need leaders at their best. And you
mhm.
made a great point earlier, and this is not to pick on anyone. It's just a fact. A lot of great companies promote from within because it's
Oh,
great. They know the culture, and now there's
yes.
pros and cons with promoting within versus promoting from without.
Right.
One of the problems we do see that you and I were talking about is that sometimes someone that's great at customer service or technical
Yes.
or sales or
Yes.
whatever may not have these skills yet to be a
Right.
leader. And
Mhm.
it's nothing to knock them. It's just they have done
No.
customer service or the technician or the technical or
Mhm,
the sales
mhm,
or
mhm,
whatever. And
mhm,
so, this is also a problem because, again, without great leadership, we're going to have a lot of stem of people leaving. People don't have
yeah,
direction. They don't have that
mhm,
purpose. If someone wakes up with
mhm,
purpose and has a sense of purpose in their job,
mhm.
they'll stay for higher offers of higher pay. They'll stay for
Yes.
because they love it. They find so much purpose. And to your point,
Mhm.
most people don't love job hunting or bouncing around.
Nope, nope.
So what can be done to empower these leaders that, let's say, have been promoted from within and have
Mhm,
done great work, done great sales or customer service or HR or
mhm,
whatever. Now they're either a supervisor or maybe they did okay as a supervisor because it was a promotion. Yes, it's a leadership role, but it's also
mhm,
more of a team member role than, let's say, a
mhm.
manager or an executive. So someone that's promoted and doesn't necessarily have all the leadership tools and skills, what can be done? What can, other than training, but I mean, what really can be done? What's effective, do you think?
Um, mentorship,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
mentorship is one thing. I truly believe that one-on-one coaching is the best. Everybody in sales knows the best and most effective way to sell to somebody is one-on-one, is getting in front of that customer, whether it's Zoom, whether it's, some sort of video, whether it's in person, or even if it's on the phone. You have to talk to your customer. So coaching and developing somebody is no different. Your best and most effective way to do that is one-on-one, and it can be as simple as once a week for 30 minutes. It can be once a month, but some sort of coaching and developing has to be done, and there really is no shortcuts to it. And a lot of companies I see have done things like, we'll have classes,
Mhm, mhm.
or like self-paced, self-directed classes. It's not going to cut it. It just, there's just no shortcuts around it. If they could do it on their own, they'd already be doing it.
It's like
So
losing weight, and there's a reason why there's personal trainers and nutritionists and weight loss coaches, and there's a reason, right? And I love teaching. I love teaching leadership and
mhm,
communication engagement tools, and I'm a full, and that's why I love partnering with amazing folks like yourself. People do need that one-on-one, that ongoing, just because I mean
mhm,
you need to learn, yes, and learn the
mhm,
foundations, and I love
mhm,
teaching that. But again, I love partnering with people like you as well, because after those foundations, after the tools, they still need the
mhm,
development, the accountability. I mean, the whole out of sight, out of mind thing, but
mhm,
reminding and even the accountability. Okay, I'm seeing someone like, Sarah next week. I better get my thing done versus, well, okay, I just took a random course. And is the course, it
mhm,
wasn't even interactive. I mean, that I harp on that too, because instead of having someone talk at you for hours, which I refuse to do, let's make
mhm,
this interactive training, which I love. I get
mhm,
bored doing talking at people anyways, but let's do an interactive training session, workshopping. And then to your point with working with you again, that ongoing development and getting better and better and better step by step.
mhm,
And I didn't mean to knock training when I air quoted it, but I mean, what else can be done? Because often it's just a company comes in and they talk at you versus
mhm,
engaging and really teaching, because one of the best
mhm,
ways to teach is to
mhm, mhm,
engage and to learn and through
mhm,
experience, and
mhm.
then yes, follow up with yourself. So that's valuable, and I completely agree. I totally agree.
Also, to couple that, I think leaders collaborating together, you know, having that's something I've noticed is not happening a lot in corporations now.
True.
Is there's not a lot of people sharing best practices together. You don't have a lot, there's a lot of teams that work in silos
Yes,
and
it's
not a lot of collaboration.
not
You
only
don't
communication.
have,
No, it's like the islands, different countries. Well, why don't we work together and talk together? It's
mhm.
I've seen it
You
multiple times.
have outside sales teams that don't spend time collaborating together on best practices.
Hmm. Hmm.
You have people spinning their wheels and not necessarily taking the time to come together and share best practices.
Yeah.
And it's just not fostered. And that is, they're missing out on a lot of things because you don't have a lot of people sharing information, and you have like star salespeople that could really share some best practices.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a program, and they had done some research on where do you need to spend most of your time, on your star people, your core people, or your low performers. And it's actually, you should spend the majority of your time on your core people, but don't forget your stars.
You
And
got it.
if
You got it.
and if you had more collaboration, you'd probably not have those big gaps.
And I agree. I mean, I came up with lots of ideas back in different companies, and they
Mhm.
were fairly siloed, and we didn't have. I would have loved to have shared and loved to have taught. One of my managers came up with an amazing system. I can't remember what it was for. An amazing system for helping our business partners, and again, it just was in our division. It didn't really
Mhm.
go anywhere until we raised some noise, and other departments didn't seem interested
Mhm.
until they were failing and not meeting their numbers. And they're like, can you help us? And we're like, yeah, we got all this stuff you've been ignoring for, for years. Would you
Exactly.
like our help finally?
Exactly. And what I really encourage people now is companies is to be less reactive.
Mm-hmm.
Take this opportunity to be, I hate saying this word, but be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really take this and learn from it. And what I really would love to see is we have a lot of companies that are starting up, like that are starting now, and to embrace these practices now. Start and have this culture where of course, I'm going to suggest bringing in third party coaches and have them start now and put this practice in now and embrace this now, because you will create a company that will not fail. And it will just, you'll have a culture that will be second to none, and you will be the one that has, you know 700 applicants applying for your 3 positions. You will always have that list that HR and hiring managers strive for. You won't have to hire third party companies to do your sourcing and hiring.
No,
And like I've said, when you have, I mean, labor costs in the United States are
oh,
so high
and to
strictly
retrain.
based on turnover.
Yeah, to retrain. I mean, it's astronomical the cost to retrain. So
Mhm.
and people come to me and they're like, how do I ask for a raise? Well, I say, like anything in life, sell yourself. And if they
Exactly.
say no, it's like, well, you're going to need to retrain someone. It's going to cost you far more than the 10 or 20 or 50K I'm asking for.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's like, let's meet somewhere. I'm saving you money.
Mhm.
You're helping
Mhm.
me, right? But it's interesting too. You mentioned a great leader is someone people will stick around for during hard times.
Mhm.
They'll stick around for, and I have offers of way more money. I'm like, no, I've never had a leader like this. I'm sticking around with Hugh.
Mhm.
And yes, Hugh Gods, if you're listening, you're the best leader I've ever had. So it's been really amazing, and for higher pay, people stick around, right?
Mhm.
It's just amazing thing. And I wanted to touch on, like you said, not just having like Bob from HR or Sam from whatever to come and we'll do a leadership training or team training. No, stop it, please, because you do need, again, promoting within is great. I mean, promoting from without
Yes.
is also good. You get other knowledge, other experiences,
True.
other culture, and injection of different
True.
things. I do love promoting from within as well. I think
Mhm.
it's great. And like you were alluded to earlier, and I want to make sure I harp on this. Companies, to save a buck, not knocking it in, but to save a buck, and you're not saving a buck, you're actually costing yourself thousands, if not millions of dollars. Saving a buck and not hiring a professional, trainer,
Mhm.
coach, a leadership trainer, development
Mhm.
consultant, whatever, to have someone. And again, I'm not knocking anyone. I'm just stating facts and what works and what doesn't work. Yes,
Right.
Bob from HR or Sally from HR or from
Mhm.
wherever can talk and about best practices. Yes, but it's still in your container, your
Hmm.
environmental container of your business.
Hmm.
I thought I'd get your thoughts on this too, Sarah. It's in that container versus bringing new knowledge, bringing like Jay,
Hmm.
Sarah, or Fred from ABC Company,
Hmm.
new knowledge and visiting. I mean, we visit, we
Hmm.
talk to all kinds of companies and
Right.
bring, oh, well, this is working really well for this car. This is working really well for your competitor. Would you like to
Right.
know what they're doing? Versus,
Right.
okay, well, we're going to find something on the internet. And, Sarah from HR, again, I'm not knocking, I'm just stating what
Right.
does not work, and to save a buck. It does not make sense because you're not saving any money. But I love your thoughts on
Also, well, you've got another component where you've got the people that you're working with, like as a third party coming in,
it.
the
Hmm.
people that you're working with in the company feel that they can be more vulnerable and
True,
honest with
true.
somebody like you or I versus if they were talking with somebody that's working for the same company.
And they'll
They
listen.
okay, go
They'll
ahead.
listen. Sorry to interrupt you, but they'll listen. It's not okay. Well, it's Fred from accounting, or this guy, sales guy, did this. Who is he, or who is she, or why should I listen? Okay, we're hiring a professional. We're spending money hiring
Hmm.
you a kick-ass professional. This is all they do, and I think people are like, well, okay, maybe I'll listen now.
Hmm.
The professional, I should listen, and I cut you
Hmm.
off, but I wanted to make sure that was there too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Plus, we're not focused on their company specific. We're focused on the individual specific. And one of the things to think about too is right now, people that are being promoted or coming in as these leadership positions, like middle management, directors, supervisors, are in those millennial and Gen Z generations, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And 74% of them have listed purpose more important than a paycheck. So
Thank you.
knowing that having those leadership skills being developed is priority. It's
And
not
that's
about a paycheck.
no, and I think that's why some of the best leaders are also coaches, will coach and come to me to get the tools to coach and
Hmm.
develop, because you're right. If someone feels on purpose and fulfilled, that's way
Hmm.
more than a paycheck. You can give them 5, 10K, and sure, they'll be happy for a little
Hmm.
while until they're miserable again. Or maybe it'll be like, thanks for the money. I'm still miserable, but I'm going to stay here and put up with this, which is
Hmm.
horrible for productivity, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks to the raise. I'm going to stay here to put up with something I don't like versus let's giving them purpose.
Hmm.
So talk to your people, talk to
Hmm.
your teams. Oh my goodness, have a conversation. Be actually interested in them. Be interested
Hmm.
in them. Have a conversation. Listen to them. What do they need? What's working? What's not working? Listen. Half the battle is to just listen. If you don't know what to do or to say, I swear to God, just listen. Maybe it's even 90%. Just listen
Yeah.
and be empathetic for your team and your people. And that's
Yeah.
half the battle too. And then if you want some amazing kick-ass coaching skills for your team, that's what I do. We'll talk. But again, listen to your team. Talk to your people. Talk to your
Hmm.
people about what's important versus how'd you do on the report, or oh, your report's low, or you didn't get this in on time, or how do we make
Hmm.
sure you sell better? Or but yes, that's great too. But
Right.
remember that professional problems are personal problems in disguise. So if
Yeah.
you really want to excel, instead of talking about the spreadsheet or the weather or how they did on the report, or you're not doing this, or what opportunities bringing, what's going on in your life, what's not working, what's causing you to be either not here or distracted or demotivated or
Hmm.
dissociated or exhausted, what is going on? And just again, listen, talk to your people and listen to them.
So true. I mean, and the leaders are your first point of contact for your new employees.
Yes.
And your employees are your brand ambassadors, and happy employees equal happy customers. So, and happy employees are 12% more productive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have high employee turnover, it's going to equal high customer turnover.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can increase your bottom line by maintaining employee retention, you're also going to increase your profits by customer retention. So it's all connected. Everything's connected. And it all starts with developing your leaders.
It's so true.
So a small investment in third party coaching pays dividends in your profits.
Bring some kick-ass tools and learnings, ahas, ways of being. And it's interesting, it's saying, oh, we can't afford you, we don't have budget for that. Well, I can promise you, if it's going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Hmm.
or make you hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, save you millions, that
Hmm.
you can find the budget. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of companies can't afford not to do this because
Agreed.
the enormous cost. It's just companies are bleeding money because of this.
Hmm.
And I don't think they're, I want to have people clear on this and how much money the companies are
Hmm.
bleeding because of this.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
important that things are addressed. Look at your leadership, look at what's not working, look at where it's not working, and what we can do to change this. Because it breaks
Mhm.
my heart that so many people are unhappy or purposeless,
Right.
and they go, oh, how's work? Oh, work's work. Oh, it sucks, but it pays the bills. Or most people, some permutation of, well, do you love what you do, or because I talk about what I do, I love what I do? They're like, nah, I don't really love it. It's okay. I like it. I get like the people I work with. And to your point earlier, people working from home now, they don't even get that. They don't even get the friendship and
Mm.
camaraderie because we're still, a lot of us, working from home.
Mhm.
So I think it's important to realize that it's time to invest in people. There's this great, resign, and we didn't have to. We can be the great retain, like you said earlier,
Great, the great retention.
no, and have this big, oh my God, something's not working, and we got to take everything to a whole new level. How about
Mhm.
making more, having companies make more money, and employees
Right.
perform even better, and teams do
Mhm.
even better, and be happier.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think people, it's time, whether you care about people or not, and you should, but whether you care about your people or not, it is costing you a fortune not to develop your people.
Exactly.
Have kick-ass, happy, purposeful, motivated,
Yeah.
happy employees. Make them
Yes.
happy. And to your point, losing customers, losing teams, mental
Yeah.
health is going up, problems. And every time someone leaves and we're not replacing them because we either can't
Mhm.
or whatever,
Right.
the mental health and the productivity goes down because now they're doing 20
Yeah.
things versus 19.
Yeah.
Mental health, and it's a dive bomb.
And it's, companies are committed to running lean. And that's you uncover another layer because
Yeah.
when companies are committed to running lean, don't blame, no shame, you've
No,
got these people in positions of leadership. They're also tasked with developing those that are underneath them, their direct reports.
I don't.
Another advantage of having third party coaching, we can also then help coach and develop those underneath them, which then is also developing those next leaders, getting a kind of a head start on developing those next leaders.
Right on.
So again, just another way to do that, because when you do get promoted to a position of leader, you are having to take on other admin tasks. You definitely have to be in more meetings. And then, as people leave because they're not getting the leadership skills, or they're getting burned out and not feeling fulfilled, a lot of times they don't get replaced. And it's estimated that, positions of leadership, when they do resign, it costs 213% of their salary to replace them.
I believe, and because you're paying headhunters, and
Yep.
instead of just, oh wow, Bob is great, or Sheila's really great,
Mhm.
Sarah's great, let's promote her, let's develop her. And I get, I agree with running lean. However, paying headhunters millions or hundreds, that is not running lean. Spend a few
No,
$1,000 on your employee, you're going to save 100,000 or a million to hire
right.
someone, because that's not running lean. Like saying no to
No.
development and training, education, or whether someone wants personal development, or a gym, or they want to take a course, say yes. That is running lean because you're gonna, I guess, as we've harped on this whole time, that is running lean. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a fortune in terms of
Yes.
customers, retraining, lost time, productivity,
Yeah.
looking bad reputation.
Yeah.
What is one last big sum up point we can give before we go, Sarah? What do you think? What's one last thing people need to know? Companies and leaders.
Let's see. Wow.
Not to
One
put you on
last
the
one.
spot at all.
Yeah. One of the things is ineffective leaders that have not been equipped, that have been set up for failure, affect other good leaders.
True as well.
In lack of collaboration, it's toxic. It creates, you may have some impact leaders that are doing great. And when you are not setting up these new leaders, or you have leaders that maybe have been in positions of leadership for a while, that have just been, their behavior has been accepted for so long, you can invest in them because they are negatively impacting your good leaders, and you are running the risk of losing them. And those good leaders have people underneath them that are there and working for you because of those good leaders. So you're going to feel the impact even greater. So
I love it because you're right. Because we are a reflection of the top
mhm,
people we hang around the most time. So good leaders will
mhm,
also, by osmosis, develop good leaders
mhm,
upstream of them or downstream colleagues.
mhm,
So I love that point. Good leaders develop good leaders, and so
mhm.
even if it's a selfish way, if you want to be a better leader, develop good leaders, because you're going to learn things, and you'll grow by osmosis, whether they're above you, below
Hmm.
you, colleagues on the same level. There you go. Develop good leaders to develop yourself. This has been a
Yeah.
pleasure. I'm just going to flash up your contact info again, Sarah. People can reach you info@sarahberrycoaching.com. Your LinkedIn address is there. And again, 858-449-0914. Sarah Berry, Leadership Development Coach. Thank you so much for your time today. This was so much fun. I think people got a lot of value out of this. And thank you, as always, for helping me contribute and make the world a better place.
Thanks for sharing your time. I appreciate it.
Amazing, my friend. Thank you.